It's Powerback time on the Gutsy podcast, your 20-minute boost to reclaim and refocus your energy. Get ready to have bursts of clarity, a boost of confidence, and the practical steps you need to make gutsy moves forward. You've got big things to do, so let's get your power back. I'm 54 years old. What am I doing? This is what a prospective client said to me on a call the other day. There's something really profound that happens when a woman approaches and turns 50. Maybe it's the hormonal shifts, maybe it's a life awakening. But when women turn 50, they stop tolerating everything that they have dealt with and allowed their entire life. They stop settling for jobs and relationships that aren't serving them. They want to pick up hobbies that they let go of years ago. They crave experiences and connections with real people, and they want to prioritize themselves, their health, their happiness, their peace, and their lives. But the weight of how do I do this and the isolation of not having the right people in your world to call you forward, it keeps you spinning in the wishing and the wanting and the someday. If you've been nodding your head along, then this episode is your permission slip to crumble up the list of shoulds that's not working and rewrite a list that's actually yours. Now, you might be thinking, Laura, I don't think that you're 50, but are you? And I'm not. At time of recording, I am 40 years old. So then the follow-up question is, then how do you know about this? How can you speak to what 50-year-old women are going through if you are not yet there? And to that I say, valid question. And the reason I can speak to this, the reason I can record an entire episode to guide you on this, is because about 70% of my clients are in their 50s. For the other 30-ish%, I'd say about 15% is in their mid to upper 40s, and the other 15% are in their 60s. So I spend the majority of my time coaching with, consulting, guiding, and supporting women in their 50s. I know you all, maybe even better than you know yourselves sometimes. And what I find honestly most fascinating about working with your age group is that it's all the same. It might be a different story. It might be a different desire. It might be a different shift in your world. But at the core, it's all about you. It's this wake up self-realization that, hey, I have been everything to everyone else my entire existence. Oh, and let's also not forget a statistic that almost every single one of the women that I work with is an oldest daughter. And that adds a whole other fucking layer on top of all this of the weight of expectation and the responsibilities that you were given too early in life. The people-pleasing tendencies and the going out of your way to make sure everything and everyone has what they need, that they are taken care of, and you are taking the scraps of what is left. And then this translates into your job, and you're doing something that maybe you like-ish, you're good at it, you've enjoyed it, it's been a good job. But people take advantage of you. You take on way too much work. You say yes when you really need to say no. It's like you end up being this unintentional career doormat where everybody just dumps their shit on you and you're left to figure it out. Then maybe there's the relationship that doesn't support you, that doesn't see you, that doesn't hear or listen to you. The kids are grown and gone and doing their thing, and you're left with what's left? Who am I? I haven't pursued anything that I truly want to do in a long time. I'm in the same daily routine. I go to bed feeling exhausted. I wake up feeling exhausted. What is happening? And also the brain fog. Okay, let's invite menopause into the conversation. While I cannot personally give experience through that because I've not yet gone through it, I know that this plays a huge part in your confidence and how you feel and your energy. And I know that the brain fog is I am fucking smart. What is wrong with me? In this phase of life, there are a lot of moving pieces, and not the same pieces as when your kids were younger or when you were in your 20s or when you were starting your career. These are very different puzzle pieces. And the realization that starts to happen in your 50s is, hey, all these pieces are together. I have created this puzzle, but where the fuck am I in it? Where are the things that I wanted to do? Where are the passions that I started out with? Where are the trips that I wanted to take or the hobby that I used to love? Where is my health? It seems to just be in a bucket in the corner collecting dust. This is the beginning of an enormous awakening, a realization that, hey, I've been everything to everyone else my entire existence, and I don't want to do that shit anymore. You start remembering the things that you wanted to do. You start realizing that maybe you don't know who you are. You start getting new ideas. You start getting this pull to make a change, to shift something. But now after all of this, now I'm going to change everything that I've built, the life that I've created, the situation that I'm in. Yeah, you are. Now listen, this doesn't always mean burning everything down and starting over. Sometimes it does. More often than not, it's just about seeking the things that give you fulfillment. A job, a career, a business that lets you use the skills and abilities that have been on the back burner. Being in a relationship that makes you feel alive and it's fun and you're enjoying life together. Circles of friends that are like deep core sisterhood. The friends that you can go to Italy for 2 weeks with. Or the ones that you can sit on your back porch for 5 hours and talk about nothing but also end up talking about everything. It's having the courage to grab a microphone and get up on stage and do an open mic night because you know what? Why the hell not? It's skydiving for the first time or taking a painting class even though nobody wants to go with you. This is your season of yes. Your season of you. A time to remember. A place to rediscover yourself. This is a season to discover what makes you feel alive now, in this season of life. To put down the expectations of others and put yourself at the front of the line. To start saying no to things that you want to say no to and yes to more things that make you feel excited. To relax. To fucking relax. To be able to chill out. To be able to enjoy the moment. To actually live this life. These are the pivots, the shifts, and the transitions that I help my clients with every single day. And through our conversations, whether it's a prospective brand new client or somebody that I've been working with for years, there tends to be a few core statements that pop up in our conversation. These are the things that come with the hesitation, that come with the questions, that come with like, I don't even know where to begin. So today, I thought I would share 4 things that come up on a regular basis. It'll be interesting to know if you are experiencing one or several or all of these. And then within each one, I'm going to give you a reflective question that you can start doing the work with. This is how I would guide my clients. These are the next steps that I would advise them to take. And ultimately, this is where we begin to make some of those transitions. So the first one is actually a really interesting one. And I hear this way more times than I ever thought that I would, but it comes up frequently. And this is a statement that is, but I've had a good life. These are women that feel like they don't have the right to complain or to say, things aren't good or I've had things hard. They're saying, actually, if you just look at everything on paper, everything is really good. The kids are grown and off and doing their thing. Maybe 1 or 2 of them are finishing up their last years of college. My spouse is good and they support me and we go out from time to time. I've got a good job that pays me pretty well. I've been able to pay all of my bills. I've got the house, we've got all the things. Like, who am I to complain about this? They feel guilty for wanting more or to change that, to rock the boat with that. Who am I to change what's not actually wrong? Except there is something under the surface, isn't there? Because if everything were right, then why do I feel so empty? If everything were perfect, then why do I feel so unsatisfied? If I've checked all the right boxes and done all the right things, why do I feel unfulfilled? And the typical answer is, you have been everything to everyone else. You made sure that everyone else's dreams came true. You made sure that everyone else had what they needed. You took the sensible route for your job and you worked your way up the ladder and you worked hard and you got all the right things. You have done everything that you were told that you should do. Now, this plan can work very well for a lot of people. And it's not saying that all of these things are wrong or bad. But what tends to be missing in this equation is the pause and the ask of, what do I actually want? What do I need in this situation? What would I like to do? Instead, the direction is turned around and pointed towards everyone else. You're a master at making sure everything gets done. Everyone relies on you at work because they know you're going to get your shit done. You put off the trip so that your kids could go to college, right? Like, you have these aspirations. There are things that you want and need, but everyone else's stuff got put first. But because everything looks good, you feel bad for wanting more or wanting different. Friend, this is your soul saying, where am I in this equation? Where are the things that we wanted to do? What if we put this same love and attention and detail into ourselves? Look, you're allowed to quote unquote have it all and still be unfulfilled. That is your soul's way of saying that there's something more for you in this life, and it's time for you to explore it. So if this is ringing true for you, the question that I would ask you to really journal on, think on, sit with, be very honest with yourself about is, where do I feel unsettled? Now, your brain's going to want to make this a big deal. It's going to say, oh, I can't change this, or I don't know how I would do that, or I don't have the money for this, or I don't have the time for that. Okay, we're not figuring out how. Okay, that's for a later session. What I want you to really focus on is being very open and honest with yourself about the area or areas in your life where you feel unsettled. You can be happy with a lot of things, but very unsettled about something else. Or maybe you're like, Laura, I'm just unsettled in all of it. And you know what? That's an okay answer too. The goal here is to start getting clarity, to start bringing attention to these areas. So it's not just like everything in your world is falling apart, or you're just walking around like this big ball of anxiety all the time. Let's start to pinpoint. Let's start to get focused on what it is that's really causing this unsettled feeling within you. If we know what that is, then we can start making decisions that support what you want to do about it. But before we can figure out the how, before we can figure out the plan, you've got to be very honest with yourself about the areas in which you feel unsettled. And this might be, I'm just unfulfilled in this area. I don't like this anymore. It's draining me. I procrastinate on this because I just don't like doing it. Knowing that I have to do this thing gives me a ton of anxiety. Right? Like, these are the types of feelings that I want you to start noticing. So if sitting down and writing it down doesn't make sense yet, just start to notice it as you navigate and go throughout your day. This is going to give you clarity. Clarity is direction. And when we have direction, we can start moving in that way. The second thing that I hear so incredibly often is the kids are grown, they're up, they're out of the house, they're doing their thing, but who am I? Motherhood is such a beautiful, heavy, exciting, terrifying fucking journey. It never ends. I'm learning that. As Camden is literally at time of recording about to turn 18 years old, I'm realizing that an entire chapter of life is ending and a whole brand new one that I have no idea how to fucking handle is beginning. And isn't that the story of motherhood? Like, just as soon as you get your hands wrapped around one phase, nope, we're all bags packed. We're on to the next one, except I don't know what to put in the bag, but we're going. There is so much weight in motherhood, in be there for them, but also do your career, and also do the dishes, and also make sure that food is planned, and also make sure that everyone's laundry is taken care of and their shit's packed. You're at sports things, you're at choir, you're at practice, you're at the friend's house, right? Like, you're a chauffeur everywhere. And it's so easy to lose yourself in the identity of being a mother. Because naturally, guess whose needs get put to the front of the line, especially when they're younger, especially when they're little and they're really relying on you? They need you first. And so for 18 to 22 years, they have been the priority. They've had the spotlight. You've taken care of kids, you've prioritized them, and you've put yourself on the back burner. Again, this is a situation where you take the leftovers, literally and figuratively. Like, how many times have you sat down and eaten a cold meal? Not because it was intended to be cold, but because you took care of everybody else's shit first, and by the time you sat down, your hot meal was then cold. Time was limited. Energy limited. By the time they were done and down, your energy was gone and you don't want to do anything. And now that that has shifted, now that your kids need you differently, instead of running them all over the place, you're helping them to figure out how to open up 401ks. Now you're left in this interesting void, the space where all of your time and attention and care, so much care and love went into taking care of your kids. You were not wrong for that. But now that that space has opened, it creates a little bit of a void. It's a weird transition when your kids don't need you the same way. And it turns the direction back on and looks at you and says, what are we going to do with this time? Where do I extend my love? Where am I needed? I think that's what this really boils down to, is where am I needed? And it's in this space where so many women are saying, I don't even know who I am anymore. Your identity as a mother has shifted. And now that identity is unrecognizable. So there's always this question of like, who am I? And what do I like? I have no idea. What would I like to try? I don't know. What hobbies do I like? This becomes a season of exploration, of playing in the space of what if, of getting curious again. And if this is really resonating with you, if you are identifying with this, the question that I would ask you to sit on and sit with is, what is a part of me that I miss? Maybe it was before the kids. Maybe it was during their adolescence. Maybe it was back when you were in your 20s or as a teen, or it doesn't matter when. What is a part of you that you miss? Some women have said, I miss how I used to be carefree. I miss how creative I used to be. I used to just pick up a pen or a pencil and just make things. I miss how I used to stand up for myself and use my voice. I miss how I used to feel, how I used to take care of my body. There are parts of us that shift. The prioritization shifts as we raise children, as we send them off into the world. And this phase of your life is asking you to reconnect with those parts of yourself. Sure, the body might not move the way that it used to, but maybe we could do a few things to get it back that direction. Okay, maybe your riskiness, your boldness isn't as big and loud and sharp as it once was, but your ability to take risks and be bold can show up in new ways. Get curious about the things that you love about yourself, that you want to amplify, that you'd love to do more of. And if there's none of that right now, go back to what you used to know. If you haven't noticed a trend here, there is a big emphasis on remembering, reconnecting, being honest with yourself. And when you do, again, it's clarity. When we have clarity, we have direction. When you have direction, you can start to infuse some of those things back into your life. The third one that I hear so often is, my job is good, but it's not my calling. It's a good job. It's an okay job. It pays the bills. Maybe you don't hate it, but you don't love it. It's like when you go to it every day, like, okay, I know how to handle this job. I'm pretty good at it. People can rely on me. Like, I've worked my way up. Like, it's just like, it's fine. Except you're kind of tired of things just being fucking fine, aren't you? A lot of times in this situation, I see that women did what was expected of them. It seemed like the right path. It seemed like the expected path. It's what somebody told them that they should do. Sometimes they followed it because of the money promise or the opportunity that it might give them in their life. And it's probably given you that. It's probably given you safety and security. It's helped you to pay your bills. It goes back to that first one of like, but everything is good, so why am I here to complain about it? Well, probably because you spend on average 40 hours a week doing a job that you don't really enjoy. Sometimes when I work with women, they keep this job, but we find the fulfillment in other areas of their life. And in other cases, they fucking hate their job. They don't want to do it anymore. It is literally draining the soul out of their ass, and they need and want to make a change. They just don't know what to do and how to do it. And of course, yes, the fear comes up and comes along when we start talking about changing your job, because you're like, this is my responsibility. I have responsibilities. Who am I to change this? How am I going to do this? This is how I pay my bills. This is how I pay my kids' college. And to that, I say, hold up. We don't have to quit tomorrow. Right now, we are playing in the space of what if. We are starting to explore what you actually want. A lot of women that are in this position that come into my world are hungry to start a business. There's a passion that they have. There's an idea that they have. There's a way that they want to help and guide and serve others in a whole brand new way. And so we start to play in the space of, what if we started a business? What would that look like? How would you like to do that? Like, we just start to play with this information. It's like Play-Doh. Okay. We're just bending it. We're molding it. We're warming it up so that it's more pliable. So if you're in what might be considered a quote unquote good job, but it's unfulfilling, it's not your calling, it's not where you want to spend the next 15 or 20 years, is to sit down and be really honest. If there were no limitations, what would I do instead? Okay, just pretend for a second. Take the money off the table. Take the how off the table. Take everyone else's thoughts about what you might do off the table. Just in this little safe box that we've created together. What would you do instead? What would feel like a fulfilling job? And if you're like, I seriously have no idea, then start looking at some of your skills and abilities, the things that come natural to you, the things that light you up. We can always find a method for those. We can find a placement for those things. But we want to build it off of the things that bring you joy, that light you up, that come naturally to you. I will sound a little like a broken record here, but the truth of the matter is, this brings clarity. Clarity gives direction. When we have direction, we can start making decisions and start taking action towards that thing instead of away from it. Now, before we dig into this fourth and final one today, I want to remind you that I offer a free session. Okay, you don't have to figure all this shit out on your own. If there's one or multiple or maybe all of these that you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize what an actual thing this is in my world right now, but I know that I'm ready to make a change. I just don't know how, and I just don't know where. Let's get on a call and figure it out together. That's what the clarity session is for. I call it a clarity session for a reason, because I want you to walk away knowing what your right next step is. Sometimes that's joining Auraline, the mastermind, with other women exactly like you. Sometimes it's easing into the shift by joining the Gutsy Collective, where there are women that are learning how to reprioritize themselves. And sometimes it's identifying what you need to focus on now so that you can make the decision for what you want to do next. The best way to book this call is by going to LauraAura.com/call, or if you want a quick link, you can scroll down in the show notes of this episode and click on it and book your session. All right, last but not least, and there are more of these, by the way. It's not limited to these four, but these are the four that come to the surface more often than not. And this fourth one is, I want to start saying no to more things while also saying yes to me. See, there's this really cool shift that starts happening when you awaken to, I'm not tolerating this shit anymore. No, I don't want to go to that birthday party. No, I'm not going to take on 6 meetings today because I already have 4. No, I don't want to eat that crappy food because it makes me feel like junk. When you start to realize that, like, hey, the power is really in my ability to recognize what's not good for me and giving myself permission to own that. You start to realize that, hey, when I stand up for myself, when I voice my opinion, when I go with what I really want or need, I start to feel different. And when I feel different, I act different. And I kind of like this. I kind of like this version of me. She seems more fun and spunky and assertive and adventurous. She's got more energy. I feel more fulfilled. Like, okay, if that happens, if I said no once, what happens if I say it again? So one of my clients was like, what else can I say no to? And I think that's such a powerful, powerful statement, or maybe even mantra for you to just dig in and own in every aspect of your life. What else can I say no to? No to people, places, and things that drain your energy. No to things that you just legitimately don't want to do. No to staying out until midnight, because listen, I don't know about you, but even at 40 midnight, I'm like, listen, if you want to be out that late, you're going to have to do it without me. If we can do cool shit during the day and I can be home at 8 so I can be in my pajamas and on my couch to watch my comfort show of Friends with my husband, listen, you have my full undivided attention. If the damn thing doesn't start until 8, listen, I have to do a lot of consideration, and it has to be a full body hell yes for me to say yes to it. And that's the thing. The more you say no to the things that drain you, the more time, the more energy, the more spunk that you have to say yes to life experiences that fulfill you. Traveling more, trying new things, being with your friends, having new foods, picking up a new hobby. When you're not drugged down by all the expectations of people and things, you have more time to do the stuff that you want to do. You have more energy at the beginning or the middle or even the end of the day to try new stuff. And listen, when you're making change in your life, whether it's in a relationship or it's in a career or it's just in your daily habits, you're gonna have to start saying no to things. There's no way around it. But this no, this self-ownership, this is liberation. This is where growth happens. This is where you start to have like space in your life to even think about the stuff that you want. So the question here is actually a twofold. The first one, what is one thing that you can say no to today? Maybe somebody's waiting on a text reply from you, or you've got an email that's waiting on a response. What can you actually say no to? And on the flip side, what's one thing that you can go for? What's one yes that you can give for yourself? Yes, I want to be unplugged completely all day on Saturday. Yes, I want to binge watch that show that's been on my list forever. Yes, I want to go take that cooking class. Yes, I want to spend some time starting to work on my business. The more you say no to the things, people, and places that drain you, the more time, capacity, and energy you have to say yes to the things that light you up. Friend, whether you are approaching 50, you've just freshly turned 50, or you're solid in the 50s doing the thing, it is not too late. That old narrative, throw that shit out the window. This season that you're in right now is special. It's beautiful. It's expansive. This is where you get to rediscover who you are, where you get to experience life in a whole new way. Can you find happiness again? Absolutely. Can you feel fulfilled in your job? Absolutely. Can you find a person to do this life with on the same energetic level as you? Yes, absolutely. But all of it, every single ounce of it, starts with you being willing to prioritize yourself, to get curious about yourself again, to say no to the dumb shit and yes to the hell yes shit. And I don't just say this theoretically. I say it through lived experience. By watching the women that I work with find new relationships, start their business, leave their jobs, go on dream trips, build something powerful in their community that they've always wanted to do, write their first book, write their third book. They're doing the thing because they got clear about what they wanted. They trusted themselves and they made the bold moves to make it happen. And one of the coolest parts about all of that is they didn't do any of it alone. They allowed support. They asked for help. They let people in, which also means they've got a built-in accountability system to celebrate the shit out of their wins when they happen to. 50s, my friend, you're just getting started, and it would be an absolute honor to guide and support you along the way. So again, that link to book your free 30-minute session with me is LauraAura.com/call. If this episode deeply resonated with you and you know that there are women in your world that could use this reminder, use this encouragement in this phase of their life as well, then I would just love and appreciate if you could share this episode with them. Because the more women that are living on purpose, that are fulfilled, that are doing the things that they love, the better this world becomes. You saying yes to yourself gives another woman permission to do the same for herself. And imagine if we've shared this now with 3 friends and they're all doing the same. That amplification is immeasurable. So let's create a ripple effect together. You can share this episode. There's usually 3 little dots where you can click copy this episode link, text it to them, drop it in an email, say, this is the episode that you need today. My friend, I believe in you. I see you. This is your fucking season, okay? I can't wait to see what you do with it. My friend, come connect with me. Come say hello. I am on all the social platforms. You can find me using @thatLauraAura. And as always, until I see you next time, stay gutsy.